Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Thursday morning's ad-free live stream. Pumped that you're here. If you're here for the first time, welcome. We're going to be getting started here. I'm going to be helping navigate you through the wild world of day trading futures. It's going to be a good time. I'm going to be talking about fair value gaps, ICT concepts, order blocks, breakers, inversions, blah, blah, blah. All the good stuff. So we're going to take a look at all of that. If you are watching after the fact, you can use the key moments in the chapter markers below. And then lastly, if you're looking to take your trading to the next level, want to add a little bit of risk, but you're ready not to go full in and, dump your life savings into a trading account and then blow it in a week, then you can use the code DTJ and you can get various discounts on Take Profit Trader, Apex, and Tradeify. It will give you the most updated discount that they are offering always, and you can use those codes or that discount code there. And with that, let's go ahead and open in prayer and rock and roll. Father, we thank you for today. Thank you that it's a new day. Your mercies are new every morning. Thank you that you are still in control, whether it was a green day or a red day. Father, in my case, it was a red day. Thank you that you're still in control. And I thank you that you are, that you're more than enough. So Father, we put our confidence in you. We put our trust in you. In Jesus' name, amen. Matthew, good morning. Ted, Wilhelm, good morning. Monet, how you doing? Ted, Byron, good morning. Madhu, good morning. She learns, she earns. I can't remember if you told me your name. I'm remembering the name Vanessa. Am I right? I don't remember. Good morning, Jose. John, good morning. Bannock, what's up? How you doing? Sam, how you doing? Welcome. Oh, Ruth. Okay, well, welcome, Ruth. How you doing? Glad to have you. Jonathan, what's up? Old Bannock, you better call it a day, my friend. Wendy, what's up? How you doing? Glad you're here. Welcome. Okay. Enough with the pleasantries. Let's go ahead and let's dive in. We got about 7 minutes before the market's going to open here. So we want to make sure we are well prepared. The market never retraced. We hit our levels. Man, it did basically what I said and I thought it was going to do. I remember talking about this, that we were going to have a slow grind up to the breaker. We're going to have a rejection, and then you would probably maybe see a move higher. It was going to do that and move lower, or it was going to give a retracement and move higher. And at the end of the day, you can see the big move higher. I wasn't on for that. If you saw my X account, I went on tilt yesterday. I went on tilt. Thankfully, I didn't blow any accounts, but I went on tilt. That losing my internet connection and having that negative trade affected me way more than I thought it did. And I overtraded, I revenge traded, I lost more money, and then I'm like, what the heck am I doing? And then I walked away. But it was after the fact that I did all the damage. So, lesson learned. I'm glad it's not as easy as people think. Not as easy as people may think. All right, we are looking for our opening price right here. That's what we're looking for. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do, and for those that are here, you're going to see what I do usually before the stream. So I'm looking at Wednesday's high, and then I'm looking at Thursday's opening price. So I mark those, and I mark that as a new day opening gap. So that's our new day opening gap. Okay. Next thing I do is I slide on down to our midnight open. Here's midnight open, and I will mark that. There's two ways I can mark it. I'll just do an array for this one. All right, so there's our midnight open right there. So we'll go ahead and mark that. And then we have those on our charts. The next thing I'll do is I'll go back. Honestly, we'll go back to 415. We'll find where 415 is at, and then we're going to mark our opening range gap because we need that. Our opening range gap isn't solidified until the opening bell, but I like to put it on the charts beforehand, so I just have it. You can see that we're going to have a large opening range gap to the downside. That looks nice. Let me make sure I'm all set up here. Get everything else ready. I can tell you right now that I am bullish because of how we closed yesterday. If we look at yesterday's candle, you'll see that it is a giant wick to the downside, and it hit the daily fair value gap. I'm getting my copier set up here, folks. That's why I'm looking like I'm crazy. All right, there we go. One. I'm getting ready for the 930 model. The 930 model's looking, I like it. Yeah, it didn't work out yesterday, but we'll see if it works out today. All right, so we got 2 minutes till market open, but I'm bullish. Here's our London low. And we have an Asia low down here as well. No, that London low ran Asia low. So we're good. So we have our potential short-term draws on liquidity down here. We have a breaker right here. We'll get into the time frame here. I'm just getting set up before the move here. Wendy, we just found you pleased to hear prayer. Do you ever trade YM? I don't. I trade just the Nasdaq. I use ES as my as a correlating asset, and those are the assets I'm watching here. All right, let's take. I'm going to take this here. See if it gives us that. Break even on 930 this morning. Break even on that 930. On the 930 model, I should say. And now we're gonna go. It ended up hitting, but we are okay. All right, let's go ahead and get situated. I don't know what that is. need to do a test trade here, folks. Sorry, my copier's not working. Let's see if it works now. All right, I don't know what that is. Hopefully that is a fluke. Don't know what that is. So I just did a test trade. Guys, I don't get this. I'm just bringing you in on so you can know why I'm freaking out. Not freaking out, but weird. So I just did a test trade with one micro contract. Okay? One micro contract. A single micro. That means it went for 10 points, so it should have been just $20. On my performance, one of my performance accounts, it just made $1,946. This is a performance account. I don't get this. My performance account just made with one micro contract almost $2,000. If that was a loss, that would have been a blown account. I have no idea what's going on. I don't know. So we're just going to cancel it. We're just not going to trade that account. I don't know what's going on. Oh, I figured out what happened, guys. That's nerve-wracking. I deleted the decimal place, so it took 100 contracts for me. Wow. That was nerve-wracking. Okay, I figured out just what happened. Instead of me selecting, so when you select one, so my copier has, it gives you if you want to trade, how many do you want to double the contract. So if I take one contract on this account, it will then, I have the option on all the other accounts, do I want to take two instead of one? So when I take one on here, it'll take two on another. Well, on that one performance account, I accidentally deleted the decimal place, and instead of putting 1.00, it put 100. So I just took 100 micro contracts on that trade, or 10 mini contracts. Okay, we're all done. Lucky. I'll tell that's just the mercy of the Lord. We'll call that the mercy of the Lord. 10 minis, yeah, that's exactly. Up $2,000 on that account. Well, we're done trading that account. So we're going to turn that sucker off. Okay? We're done. So now that we got all of that out of the way, now that I'm kind of settled here, let's go ahead and let's talk about the market. I got 15 minutes before I'm going to take a trade. So we're going to make sure we have an understanding of what's going on in the market. So it's important for us to realize that we have news, and we've had news this week. So news is going to be our indicator on what happens with price. Now, I want you to take a look at all of these gaps. Do you guys see these gaps? Okay. Here, 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 here. Okay, there's gaps everywhere. Just take note of when it opens higher, every time we've opened higher, it, for the most part, is a bullish day. Every time we've opened lower, it's been a bearish day, for the most part. And I'm talking about the obvious big ones. I don't care about the small discrepancy ones, though, like this right here. You'll see that closed higher, it opened lower. I'm not talking about that. this is very, in my opinion, bullish. And this high is honestly our target right there. Our high from April 2nd, that data high from the news tariffs is our target. And then we have a volume imbalance that's above it and a daily fair value gap that's above that. So we're going to include that volume imbalance in that daily fair value gap. And then there we go. We have our daily fair value gap, including that volume imbalance that's sitting up here that has been untagged. So this is where I think price is going to go. That's where I think it's going to go. Man, it's just crazy we haven't had a single pullback at all. Our best shot was this candle here, and it just rejected a bearish day and is pushing higher. So this daily fair value gap is really going to be my determination is if we're on a higher time frame bullish market or on a higher time frame bearish market. What do I mean by that? If we get above this daily fair value gap and above this swing high sitting right here, that is now turning into a breaker, a low high, lower low, right? And then what do we know about breakers? It moves higher. So if we end up closing above this daily fair value gap, my next target is this swing high, and now I'm really, really bullish. I'm still looking at this as a retracement for a further move lower, especially with the tariff talks. So if the tariff talks are continually delayed, then this could be our point of resistance. And that's how I'm going to look at it until we get further confirmation of a close above here and we attack that swing high. If we attack and close above this level, roughly about 20,500, then I'm interested in potentially looking at a higher time frame bias that is bullish. Okay? That's kind of the idea that I'm thinking there. Unemployment claims was negative. The news is really against Trump. 92% of all the news is negative against Trump. So now that we have a higher time frame idea, let's start moving our way down to lower time frame targets, okay? Lower time frame ideas. Now, we have our opening range gap that we have right here. I'm watching the midpoint that's inside this weekly fair value gap, and then we have our new day opening gap sitting down there. I'm interested in it coming down to this level, tagging or running London open, and then us moving towards those highs. That's honestly what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for a bigger retracement. If we get a continuation at 10 a.m., then we can have that conversation. But my narrative, we have bias. My narrative is London low, new week opening gap, new day opening gap, and a push higher. That's my ultimate target. We could reach down into this hourly BISI here. If it really wants to throw people off the scent, off the trail. But I mean, because everybody's thinking bullish right now, so it could just say, you know what, we're really gonna dig lower before we move higher. And you can already see the reaction we're getting off of London. There's London right there. So let's just keep an eye on and see if it wants to. I really think London's not the low. I don't think the London's the low. I think that we have the opening range gap. We have new day opening gap. We have an hourly, and we have our previous. Actually, that's not our previous day high. I never marked our previous day high. So let me mark my previous day high here. Okay, and where's our 930? 930 is right here, opening price. We'll mark that out as 930. And we have our first presented fair value gap sitting right here. All right, so we are pretty much fully set on what we're looking for. We're looking for a move higher. We have relatively equal highs here. That is a nice breaker for a move lower. We have our hourly fair value gap down here. Let's look at the 4 hour. We have a 4 hour potential reversal taking place right now. If this closes bearish like this, we could have potentially a 15-minute entry. If we drop down to the 15-minute, our 15-minute entry could be right here. So for those that don't know, we have a 30-minute reversal, hourly reversal, and a 4-hour reversal. And those have to do with its correlating lower time frame chart. So for the 4 hour, it is the 15-minute time frame. For the hour, it's the 5-minute, and for the 30-minute, it's the 3-minute. So if you look at the hourly, for example, here's the hourly right here. We have a sweep of liquidity on this candle. We have an expansion lower, and from 9 to 10, we want to see if it hit a 5-minute fair value gap. Let's drop to the 5-minute. And did it hit a 5-minute fair value gap after 9 o'clock? We don't have a 5-minute fair value gap, so there would have been no entry on this so far. If we go to the 30-minute, the 30 minutes already passed, and it would have been between 8:30 and 9. And there wasn't an entry there. So no entries on the reversal models right now. Just a lot of back and forth price action. A lot of wicks in price. London low is still respecting here. And here in about 1 minute, we will have the green light to take a trade. Man, that was just nervous. That just freaked me out. I can't believe that just happened. All right, May 1st, 9 o'clock, we had ISM manufacturing prices, and that's it. So that's at 10 o'clock, and at 7:30 we had, or 8:30 we had unemployment claims. Where's 8:30? Let's see if we had the data high, data low. So that was already ran. So nothing really significant there. I think it's a little premature to take an inversion long right here, even though it looks good. If we close above this first presented fair value gap, this would be your target. It looks good. I'm just I think I want to break out of this structure, so I would probably be more interested in a breaker like this, and using the first fair value gap as further confirmation. Yes, Ted. London's between 2 and 5. You may be responding to somebody if somebody's asking, but that is correct. Sam, I am going to trade today. Debbie, I'm not. I don't think so. If you're not in the States, the closest thing is US. Is it US 300? What can somebody tell me what the correlating out of the country asset is? I can't remember because I'm in the States, so I really don't pay attention to that. All right, so there's your inversion. I elected not to take it. I said that, but the trade idea is there. Stop loss would be the low of this fair value gap. Target would be this high right there, so 23 points. Let's just see if it plays out. It looks like it's going to. NAS 100 is the same. Okay, so I'm not I only trade the Nasdaq, and I'm in the States, so. Don't tell me this is going to fail. There it goes. All right, so data high was hit, or not data high, the swing high for that inversion model. That did play out. If you took that, congrats. I chose not to take it. I'm interested in seeing how we find support here. We may reach back down into the fair value gap and could move higher from here. We also have 930, so keeping an eye on that. And if all else fails, we have this small last presented fair value gap that we can go long in if we need to, if it doesn't give us a retracement. I just feel like we want to go lower. So I just got this gut feeling it's a fake move and it's going to go lower before it goes higher. Yeah, I know a few people that do that as well, Byron. I don't think looking at the structure here, I rather like this, because it would be so easy for it to make a lower high here and then continue lower, and then this breaker just fails. But if we break through this structure, it has less likely of a lower move, if that makes sense. $20,040. And we do have some decent news at 10 o'clock. So I might wait till 10 o'clock before I take it and let anything that wants to happen before news. Basically what I'm trying to say is I don't think we're going to get a huge run before news. So if price likes to wait for news, well then I should wait for news as well instead of trying to front run a trade. If you're liking the commentary so far, guys, we got a lot of people on here and very few likes. If you want to see a trade on screen, hit the like button. Let's hit 60 likes. I want 60 likes for the thumbs up, and then we'll take an on-screen trade, folks. I appreciate the support. There's a tag of midnight open. I like the idea of for a quick scalp above this first value gap towards these equal highs. So the trade idea would be this right here. Target would be these equal highs here. Stop would be there. You could honestly run for that high over here. So 13 handles if it gives it to us. The risk is fairly low and we're coming off of a breaker. So there's a good well, now it's probably gonna, if it's gonna run, it could run before it. But I like the idea of it closing right here and then running for these highs. So if it gives us a close above this, I'll look at doing most likely a quick scalp. We're almost there, folks. Let's hit 60 likes. And then let me make sure my Windows screen is ready to go. All right, so my executions will be on here. Remember what I said? I did mention that it would make sense for it to not break above this and move lower if it wanted to. That's why at the moment, I'm not interested in this breaker yet. All right, well, that was a horrible play, but I took that trade, and as soon as it gets above there, I'm probably going to get out because it wicked my high and wicked the target. More than likely, this could be a stop out, folks, because the entry was while it was wicking that target. Not a good execution. So we'll let that just be what it is. Did you see how it also ran? Look where my target was. I need you guys to see this. Okay. My target was right there. Look what it hit exactly with just a flash of the candle closed above it. So while I didn't see this flash, I was watching the close of the candle and I took the trade. And right when I took the trade, I saw that it flashed and hit my target. And then it never went to break even again. And I just let the trade play out. And I didn't move my stop loss because I'm like, I'm not gonna take a greater risk on this. So I only had a 10 handle risk, I believe. So that didn't look good. I didn't like the way that played out. Hey, Alwyn, if you can't be kind in here, we'll just mute you. This is not a place to start fights or anything. So if you don't like it, you can leave. How you doing? So we're going to wait and not take anything. Do you see how nasty that was? We're going to wait till the news candle to see what happens here. I'm not going to take anything before. That one honestly looked the best, but the way it executed, it's like it knew it needed to register this high right here and decided to do it on that candle. And it literally did it on the last half of second. The last second of that candle. Braden. Demons be manifesting. Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I've seen some people just lose it. And yes, I'm pretty sure they were possessed. Uganda. Welcome, Hope. Honestly, guys, that just blows my mind. That blows my mind. To be able to connect with people from around the world. I hear so much about Uganda from missionaries that we support and we follow around the country. And it's just, that's why I'm saying all this. Just to be able to connect with people from around the world, it's pretty crazy. Ethiopia. Finland? Wow. That's just crazy. Wow. Hey, I always mention I wanted to make an impact around the world. I wanted to help people from around the world. Apparently, we're doing that. Ruth, you're from Kenya? Brazil? Switzerland? What the heck? Toronto? Hong Kong? How are we all going to get together? How are we going to get together? How are we going to do like a retreat trip somewhere? How do you do that when you got people from around the world? Ecuador, Tennessee. Okay, Tennessee's a hop, skip, and a jump. My sister lives in Tennessee. Australia. I want to visit Australia for sure. Exotic Iowa. Yeah, from people that have no idea, people from other countries are probably like, exotic Iowa? Where's that? All right, so we just closed below the first presented fair value gap right here. We're probably going to run lower. This was a sweep of liquidity. We made equal highs right here. So that probably will be retagged later. That makes me, this keeps my attention right here. I'm not interested in a lower move. I'll wait for something to do this. That would be nice. Meet up at the Jordan River. Oh, my wife wants to go to Israel. That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, I'm glad you're all here. Glad we're hanging out. Over a common goal, a common purpose of financial freedom through trading. All right, let me jump to the 15-minute chart. Look at the low resist. We have some low resist. This is high resistance liquidity that formed, but this is a low resistance run. So it looks like it's running this. So we have a 15-minute fair value gap right here. We'll keep an eye on. See how it reacts to that. And that's also the previous day high sitting right there. I don't know how much lower it can go, because if it starts getting, this is the lowest it could probably go without it really wanting to run lower. There's the news before the news. There it is. That is a crazy candle. I'm glad I'm not doing anything right now, folks. You kidding me? I'm not taking that. And honestly, it's a good rule of thumb if you trade any prop firms, just don't trade any news anyway, because most of them will actually, you'll violate a rule. So a minute before, a minute during it, and a minute after. So 9:02 or 10:02 is when you can take your next trade. It's just better not to take any trades on stuff like this anyway. Actually, this isn't one of the qualifying news. I think the qualifying news is FOMC, CPI, non-farm payroll. I think those are the main ones. I think there's 3 or 4. But just take a note. Where did we close? We closed inside that 15-minute fair value gap, which overlaps with the midpoint of the opening range, the previous day high sitting right there. Let's see if it wants to run lower or if it's going to go higher. But I'm not taking anything right now with that amount of volatility. 73 handles in one candle. We're going to let it give us the structure and tell us what it wants to do. Guys, patience is our best friend. Patience is our best friend. 4-hour inversion. Technically, yes. This is, that also confirms a lower move. That might change my bias here, folks. What was that 15-minute fair value gap that I marked for the 15-minute move right here? All right, so we're going to keep track of this reversal right there. If we find resistance here, we run that high and roll over, that would be a 4-hour the 4-hour reversal model. We got a lot of stuff on the charts here. I know. Sorry. So I'm in Nebraska, so pretty close to the Iowa people and Missouri people. Pretty cool. I'm on the eastern side of Nebraska. $15. Let's check out the 30. All right, let me just make sure ES what. Oh man, ES is crazy. ES has a big gap. Let's go ahead and mark our highs and lows. We have a sweep of liquidity there. On the 1-hour time frame. That means we have a 4-hour sweep there as well. Do we have a 15-minute entry on ES? Yes, our 15-minute entry on ES is right here. So we're watching ES as well. This is the 1-hour. This is the 4-hour reversal level. Seeing if it wants to, if it finds resistance in this 15-minute fair value gap, we could potentially see a reversal there. From the Philippines, welcome. Jason, welcome. Found the channel this morning. Well, I'm glad you're here, my friend. Let's see. I can't pronounce the first name, but Leon, we'll say Leon, welcome. From the Philippines, welcome. I'm glad you're here. But if you take a look at this 15-minute time frame, guys, a lot of wicks. I really want to be cautious. There's two directions that we could go right now. We could go up and we could go lower. Those are the two directions. Profound, I know. But the point is, if both are a potential strong option, our best option is to sit and wait. Our best option is to not take a trade. That's our best option right now. Because what we're doing is we're really ranging. It's a seek and destroy right now. We're running liquidity, running liquidity, running liquidity. That's kind of what's happening. And until we are able to determine, are we running higher or lower, we need to be careful. We swept this low, 15-minute found support. Are we going to find resistance in this 15-minute, or are we going to blow right through it and continue higher, right? I'm not completely convinced that this reversal is right here, because I think we could still run this high and then sell off later if we wanted. So there's several different things and criteria that's going on here. And look at the low resistance. Look at these swing highs here on ES. Just sitting here. Relatively, it's smooth. It looks like it could be ran. There's just a lot of factors that are playing that just isn't making it very clear for me. And it's not, when it's not clear, you have to sit on your hands. The mistake I've made so many times is, well, I'll take a smaller trade here, and then you get burned. The breaker really has still been playing out multiple times here. Here's low of day. Low of day is sitting at 19,805. There's no inversion to the downside, so no entry model here. This breaker is still active, but I'm not a fan of it. It's too messy. I think the 402 high needs to be ran too. And that's sitting right here. That's really, I would agree. If I had to pick a desired target, that would be it. So 20,044. Oh, thanks, Byron. We will do that affirmation. Let me just see if we're going to sell off here. We'll do it after this macro's over. So around 10:20, we'll take a look at it. Matthew, we'll get to it for sure. Yeah, I saw that. Thank you, Jesus. Honor and glory. We crown you King of glory. Look at the lack of fair value gaps and look how many wicks you see. In this price action right here, look how many fair value gaps how many fair value gaps do you see compared to how many wicks? How much wicks? What does that mean? It means don't trade. That's what that means. Don't trade. Don't take a trade. I could see us running lower here as well. I mean, there's so many sides to this. When you get a big move like this, it just makes sense to retrace. It just really does. Let me run some numbers. Let me jump to the hourly. Let's go to the 4 hour here. And we're going to look at this run higher. Okay, so if we look at this run higher, what day is that? 29th. I'm going to get rid of some of these lows here. I just don't want them on my screen. I I think we're done with that. Done with that. We're done with that. I'm just going to go crazy if I don't remove some of this. I think I'm going to remove this too. Okay. All right. So if we drop a Fibonacci tool from this low to this high, where we've ran, and we find out where equilibrium is. Equilibrium is right here. Okay, do you guys see that? Look where it conveniently overlaps with. What is it overlapping with? What PD array do you see right to the left of it? This is how we work on higher time frame understanding of where price could go. Okay. Equilibrium is usually tagged most times. It's tagged a big percent of the time. But right to the left, what do we see? We see this giant black candle. This is a order block. Well, that is followed by these two green candles, which creates a breaker. Low, high, lower, low. We broke higher. Where could we find support before we move higher? So that is a possibility of us running that low. Do we need to take a trade all the way down to this low? No. We could take a trade down to the low of day. We could take it down to the hourly fair value gap. All of those are options. But it seems probable to me to run to this level. Now, before we run for this level, before I'm willing to take this short, I really want to see that high tagged. Okay? I am not going to take a short unless we run this high. Okay? That's just going to be my plan for today. Why do I say that? How can I run for an imbalance that it just created? Okay? This is the imbalance that it just created yesterday. How can I run a newly created imbalance when we have an old high that has been sitting here longer? Older means stronger. Older means more desirable. Older means that's my area of focus because there's more liquidity sitting up here. How many people have stops above this? I think there's a lot. So it would make sense that before they want to move lower or have some type of major retracement, they grab the liquidity first. So if I'm taking the trade now, could it work out? Sure. But there's also a higher probability it could be a fake move lower to grab the liquidity to then give the real move. So understand where your points of liquidity and imbalances are based on time. Which one was created first? We look back 20, 40, 60 days. That's an ICT concept. That's what he teaches. We look back those period of days to see what could overlap and what could be an area of interest. This is April 2nd. That's 30 days ago. So that is a major point of interest, especially with this daily fair value gap that is within 40 days. So while I want to go short, while I want it to refill what it just made, I need to wait until we grab the main point of liquidity, which is the old high. That's how I see that. I see this as a sweep of liquidity right there. Now, so we could take the trade to that target as well. So we have a couple options. Do we wait for confirmation that we do hit this high? That's an option. Do we try to take the trade towards the high that we really like? That's an option as well. Both of those are, for me, options. So I need to wait for something that looks good enough to take to that high, or I wait for it to hit the high if nothing's clean, and then I look for a reversal. That's how I want to play this. How do you find the difference between a sweep of liquidity and a change in state of delivery? Well, those go hand in hand. I don't think you're understanding what they are. A change in state of liquidity is the result of a sweep of liquidity. A change in state of delivery happens when you get a sweep of liquidity. So I don't think you fully understand what those are. We got relatively equal highs here. Yeah, I think this is a fake move lower right now. Do we have options here? We got structure that we can play off of. There's not much structure. This looks really sloppy. There's no good structure here. Yes, there's going to be difference in candle bodies. We do our analysis on NQ. I do my executions on MNQ. So if you're going to get in, you're not getting in on MNQ. You're getting in based on where NQ is on the chart. Tony, or is it freezing? Am I choppy, or is anybody else experiencing choppiness? Okay, good. Yeah, Byron, yesterday really freaked me out. And it got to me. I ended up, I went on tilt yesterday, folks, if you weren't here during the stream or when I first said that. I had a weak moment. I went on tilt. Thankfully, didn't blow any accounts, but I started just clicking the button. I did. I felt bad. But that leads us into today's affirmation. Let's take a look at today's affirmation. New month, same mission. I show up with consistency, courage, and conviction. I don't chase outcomes. I align with God's pace, and the results follow. New month, same mission. But also with the new month, with the new day comes new mercies. And that is where forgiveness is such a key part of your trading journey. Can you forgive yourself for the mistakes, for the revenge trading, for the over trading, for going on tilt? I had to go through that yesterday. I had to forgive myself. I had to let go what happened and move forward to what is. When I look back at my history of trading so far, I will tell you that all my failures or all of the ups and downs I've experienced is a direct result to going on tilt, over trading, revenge trading, just clicking the button, gambling, not following the rules and the models. Directly correlates. So the easy solution to seeing sustained success is to eliminate those. It's easier said than done, folks. How do you find the difference between just a sweep of liquidity? Here, the word you're looking for is, how do you know the difference between a sweep and a run? Okay? A sweep looks like this. Here's our high. There's the sweep. That big black line. That high was swept by this candle right here. But look where the body closed. The body closed below that swing high. So I would call this a sweep. What's a run on liquidity? There's plenty of those here. Look at this high. What do you see the difference is? Not only did it close above the line, but when it came back down, what did it find support at? It found support around these levels here and then moved higher. That's a run on liquidity. All right, we're now moving higher. Let's see if we get out of this mess. There's still nothing, no breakers, no inversions. Everything's locked up here. Nothing on the 2-minute. Nothing on the 3-minute that I like. Nothing on the 5-minute that I like. It's just a flat mess, folks. It's a flat mess. So if it's messy and it's not clean or not clear, then I don't take a trade. There's no inversion. There's no inversion that I'm seeing. That I like. I mean, if you're having a hard time finding an inversion, especially with all the wicks here, then it's safer not to take the trade. 20,040, 20,004 breaker. I like that. I like that, but here's why you can't use that. Why? A breaker is a model, a place that it reverses to move towards liquidity, to move towards imbalance. If you don't have a strong liquidity point for why it should reverse there, then you shouldn't be taking it. The reason why I would not take this is why? What's sitting right here? What's sitting above it? An old high. And old highs are major points of liquidity. So I would never take a short here when you have such a major level up here. That was a lesson I learned after taking many breakers and them failing. It doesn't mean you don't get a reaction here. You could get a nice little reaction here. It might retrace 20, 30 points. It might go 40 points. But does it go back up and run through it? Yes, it does. Most of the time, that's exactly what it does. Well, I mean, look at this. That looks heavy manipulation. This, I mean, there's nothing going on there. Like, now, keep in mind, the trade that I took was before all of this. and it was just this run to the London low and run above this fair value gap, and we took that long. I think that was a legit trade. It just happened to, at the last second, wick my target before I entered the trade. So I really can't do anything on that. That's just one of those things that you count it, you just take it in the chin and you move on. You don't, that's why you never oversize, you never over leverage, because that trade right there, I lost $20 for the most part, because I only took one contract on that, one micro on that, because I wasn't going to put in my full size on a 10 handle trade after we ran 40, 50 handles. All right, so we're probably going to run these equal highs here. Let's see how we expand. Do we sweep or do we run it? You tell me. I'm looking for a run on these equal highs. I'm looking for the run, not a sweep. If we get a sweep, we close below it and we retrace down to some point down here that I'm not interested in. And if it's going to do that, then we're going to sit out longer, folks, because that's not what we're looking for. That's just telling me that it's just seek and destroy right now. Sweeping highs, running the other direction. There's no reason why we should sweep this and run lower. We got too much support. We've made this bumpy. I mean, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 pumps lower. We should really find support here, and even that could turn into a breaker, a bullish breaker. Not that specific level. It would be more like this level right here. I like the body. We'll do the body. That's kind of what I'd be looking for. This, honestly, right here is a legitimate long. It's a little soon for me considering what we saw, considering what we've seen here. The 930, it would, all right, so here's my interest. I found my interest, okay? Now that we've closed above here on the 5-minute time frame, I want to see the 5-minute. I've decided what I want. I've decided. It's right here. Okay? I want us to reach back down into this 5-minute fair value gap. I want us to respect the 930 level, and I want it to respect this breaker. So the 930 level is the breaker, but I want it to stab into the 5-minute fair value gap, and I will look for a long. That is what I want. I'm not going to take a long unless I get that. If it pumps without me, it goes without me. I'm looking for my structure. I'm expecting some type of retracement. I don't want to take a long off of an expansion. I want to take a long off of the retracement for the expansion. Okay? Here's our breaker. There's our fair value gap. There's 930. There's enough here for me to say I want to wait for that. And I will take an honest attempt for that type of trade. And hopefully it doesn't happen until 10:45. That's my preference. And I'll be right back. I'm going to use the restroom. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on right around there. The breaker is on the 5, was it the 5-minute? Yeah, it's on the 5-minute. The breaker is the 930 level. But I'm looking for a purge. Like, I want it to just be really aggressive into this level, and that's where I'm going to take it. I will take the aggressive move lower. We also have this order block right here. So that's an OB. That's kind of where I'd want to find it to stop. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of this 15-minute because I'm not looking for a reversal here. The 5-minute structure doesn't look like it wants to come back down to this level. And I'm not going to take a trade if it doesn't. Considering how we've seen all of these wicks, that's what I want. And it looks like it's going to go without us. So we got the retracement, but it didn't get down to the levels that we want, and that happens. Here's an inversion. If we close above that, followed by, or if we get an order block followed by a close, I'll take the long to the high. All right, there would be that. I can't take that. It was probably going to run, but actually, you know what? We are going to take that. Let's see if it gives us to this high. I have one micro contract on this because it is it's a little extended, but it did close above our fair value gap. So the trade will close if we close below this. So let me mark it out here. If we close below that level, the trade will close. Our target is that high. We have some time. 30 seconds. So if it closes before that, I'll manually close the trade. Not, was there? If I missed that, then I missed it. There is a volume imbalance. One tick below. All right, target's been hit. I'm going to close that trade. I had my target a little higher than what that was, but we hit the target, so trade closed. Nice little win there. All right, now what did we say after we hit that high? Now I'm open to seeing price roll over. Is it going to do it right away? I don't know. But we're going to let it do what it wants to do, and we'll see if something changes. Okay? All right, we need to make sure, what is ES potentially reaching for? Nothing. We're still, ES is still reaching for those, for the upper portion of that volume imbalance that was created due to, the data high for April 2nd, the tariff news is right here. So it still has a long ways to go. So because of that target being so high, our interest is pulled to NQ as our point of interest to pay attention to. If price starts to roll over, it's not going to be because of ES. It's going to be because of NQ hitting some key levels. Now, we do have this daily fair value gap that we could run into. We could push higher into. But with it being almost the macro, the 11 a.m. macro, we potentially could get a reversal. Or at least a nice trade down to this level. That would be nice. If we could take a trade down to 9:30 open or equilibrium, we'll look where midpoint is of that price leg that moved higher. From this low to this high, midpoint is almost the exact middle of that 5-minute BISI. So I like the idea of a breaker to that level. Not trying to get this. Get this. That's still 50 points. We aren't going to get any 5-minute change in state of delivery here today. If we're looking for this reversal or this retracement, it's going to have to be off the 1 minute. I want it to come below this down close candle and up into this candle. I'm expecting another push higher here. Honestly, it makes more sense for us to run higher and deeper into that daily fair value gap. You can take that inversion long. It's lower probability because we ran liquidity, but it's not bad. Why is it lower probability though? It's lower probability because we ran the high already. Remember, this is brand new. This high was just created sweeping that old high. But it really wasn't a deep sweep. I would like it to run, you know, up into this area here. So that's why I'm saying it's not a bad setup. Just know that it could fail. Do you have any quadrants on the big fair value gap? No, I don't. I've tried to mess with his quadrants and I just can't get it. I can't see the major value in the quadrants. I get that it will, you know, hover in the first quadrant, then go into the second, and then sometimes go into the third. But as far as like very sensitive levels, low, high, and midpoint. So that's what I focus on. If you're bullish, this is a no-brainer trade. I should say that. If you think, yeah, we got higher to go, we're going up here. My target isn't this level. It's, you know, the top of the fair value gap, whatever it is. This is a no-brainer trade. This is a for sure. You would have taken that if you were bullish. I was bullish, but this was my top target. So I wanted to see if we got that type of a move lower. So when you have a bias or a narrative that you want to see play out, my narrative was this. That's what I wanted to see play out. And it doesn't happen. Well, then you sit. You sit. And you put together a new narrative. Okay. Well, my new narrative is now going to be this. That's my new narrative. If that doesn't happen, I'm going to sit. At some point, if it just keeps making higher highs, I might say to myself, you know what? Let's change my narrative. I want to see it come down to this level. I want it to leave a fair value gap, and I'm going to go long on the fair value gap. you change your narrative on what price wants to do. And when it actually does what you planned on it doing, that's when you take your trade. So here's a perfect example with this trade right here. Let's put it back to where I thought it was supposed to be. I said if it doesn't get down to here, our last shot would be taking this inversion to this high. Okay? It didn't do what I wanted at first, but I had a backup plan on if it did this, then I could take the trade. So when it did it, and it did it aggressively, I first was hesitant because anytime I see aggressive candles, I'm hesitant. But at the same time, this tells me now's the time to go hit this level, especially when it closes right above it. So I got past my hesitancy and my fear of potentially taking a loss, and I said, you know what? I'm going to manage my risk appropriately. I'm not going to oversize. I'm going to take an entry. I'm going to target that level, and if we close below this level, I'm going to get out, and that's what I'm going to do. This candle probably freaks some people out. Follow the rules, keep yourself out of the emotions. Well, guess what? It stopped right at the midpoint, closed right at the midpoint of that inversion, and then exploded to the target in the next 2 minutes. So we got to put together narratives. We use our bias to create narratives to then enter our models. 3 steps: bias, narrative, model. That's as simple as that. If you only take trades based on that idea, you will have a better win rate and better chance of success than if you were to take just random trades. Nine minutes to the top of the hour. We're in that time. I want to see something happen. This is the magic time. Followed my rules on EU, contrary to price action, and won the trade. Wowzer, that was crazy. It's always that way. And here's the thing about it. When you follow the rules, despite what you're seeing and how you're feeling, when it works out, the next time it happens, you trust the process more. But you have to start somewhere. So if you haven't done that, you're going to have to grow a pair, reduce your risk down to 0, 1 micro, take the trade, put your stop loss at the appropriate spot, and let it play out. And if it fails, you do it again. Work on your model, understand why it didn't work out. Did you misunderstand what the entry was? Were you premature? Were you too late? Why did you get in? How did you feel when you got in? Were you hesitant? All of those factors, and then you evaluate it. Then try again. This is the foundation blocks of building a profitable trading system. From the 28th, I think I might have watched that one already. What did I watch? Let me check. Honestly, I can't remember. I like watching the videos where he just reads price because it just confirms to me on what I'm doing that I'm doing it right. Was this it? No, that was April 30th. Yeah, I did watch that one. Actually, the long we took yesterday that I got, I lost my internet, was based off of those ideas. I already knew it, but it just more, I just noticed that the trade that we took yesterday. Where is it at? We went long inside that fair value, inside the first fair value gap right there. We went long right here. Fair value gap overlapping with a PD array. This is a mitigation block. We broke through it, want to see it find support, and we went long to the highs. He actually talked about that in that lesson. Not about that specific trade, but thanks, Jib. I've been trading for 2 years. ICT, 3 years total about. That first year of trading, I basically was gambling, throwing away money. No, I don't trade anything but the Nasdaq. What you see here is what I trade. It's just, I like to sit down, look at one chart, know that I'm going to trade that, and I'm going to focus on that. I prefer that way more than scanning the charts. Now, if I start getting bored with this, then I may change. I may do more on other time. I may trade gold. I like gold. Yeah, that might help some people, Paul. I like putting, I already have a lot of boxes on my charts, and I just don't like putting anything else. So I don't have any indicators on my chart. No, Bannock, the consistency isn't whether you win or lose. Consistency isn't depending on your win rate or if you're losing trades, Bannock. When I'm talking about consistency, I'm talking about you following your rules. If you're following your rules and you're taking a loss, that's what we call a negative winner. It ended it being a loss. You followed your rules. Now you go to step 2 of the process, and that is evaluate your trade. How'd you feel before, during, and after? Write down your thoughts before, your thoughts during, your thoughts after. Analyze the chart. Did you really see what you saw? Were you trying to make something up? Did you force the entry? Force the idea? Was there a higher time frame key level you missed? Was the draw on liquidity really bullish or was it bearish? So you finding that those things in step 2, step 1, take the trade. Step 2, analyze how you felt and how you experienced all of that. Journal that. And then step 3, put those into your plan for your next trade and do the same thing again and be consistent about the types of trades you're taking. Don't just click the button. So consistency is not about you winning or losing. It's about you taking good quality trades regardless if they win or lose. Roberto. Yes, I can explain that. Let me make sure I'm not losing internet connection. What I mean by MNQ and NQ, the primary Nasdaq, the primary, the superior, the adult in the conversation is the Nasdaq. The child is the micros, or the baby brother, the little guy is the micros. So MNQ versus NQ. Okay? The reason why MNQ was created because the volatility and the size for the Nasdaq requires a lot of risk. 1 point is $20. 1 point on the micros is only $2. So there's less risk. So they created the micros for people to trade lower amounts of money, and they could get more money, more people into the markets. That's really the idea behind this. More people were sitting on the sidelines on the Nasdaq, so they created the micros or the mini Nasdaq, so people with less money could trade, so they could get more money into the markets. That's really what their goal is. How can we get the biggest number of people interested into trading? So when we look at the big brother, the Nasdaq, we do our analysis based on that, and MNQ follows. There's variances, there's discrepancies, there'll be more wicks and price action, but we follow our trade analysis based on the Nasdaq because that's the big brother, that's the adult in the conversation. All right, it is 11 o'clock. 11 a.m. created the high. Do you see this? 11 a.m. I like that. I like when I see the top of the hour creating the current high. So we're going to see if this stays there. And our interest is this level right here for a breaker. Bull & Co., welcome. Not Handy, what's up? How you doing? First level of resistance or support that we need to see it break through is right there. We want this to turn into an inversion fair value gap. If it's just going to wick like that, then we could see higher prices. If that's the case, if you close above this inversion, that could be a nice little long right there. I'm not going to take that. Like I said, I'm not interested in going long at this point now. Yeah, Bannock, it takes practice, and you got to take the time to learn to recognize it yourself. This looks like that didn't close, but this looks like a great long. The main reason is this order block right here is overlapping with this data with the high. We dropped, found support in this fair value gap sitting right above the high. So if we close here, we should run this high. I'm not, what happens after we run the high, I don't know. From Brazil, welcome, Bolko. Bull and Co. Thrive with Brian King, how you doing? I appreciate that. That's what I stand for. The Lord, His kingdom, His righteousness. He says in His word that if you seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, He provides everything else. He takes care of everything else. So, that's what I want to do. All right, so it hit the high before it actually closed above that fair value gap. So there's no trade. There was no entry there. And we continue to sit. Really, your trade opportunity was right here. I liked it, but I was, like I said, I'm looking for this. I'm wanting that. So if it's not going to give that to me, I'm going to miss out on those. Matthew 6:33. Yes, sir. Smart Money likes complete numbers. Well, that would have been at 20,000 then. And it went right through that level. I would say 20,000 is more interesting than 20,100. But I understand your point. Here, we'll put on the quadrants for those folks out there that like it. Instagram, no, I don't. I have one, a personal channel, but I don't even have the app on my phone. Actually, I think I do. To me, it's a frou-frou. It's all about imagery. To me, it's fake. I don't like it. I'm moving my level to here. Breaker, high, low, higher, high. See, I'm just moving it up. I'm moving it up. I'm moving it along, just waiting for the opportunity. And more than likely, it's going to be fast. More than likely, it's going to be quick. This has been a very extended run right here. Hey, 132. Welcome. Let's see if we can hit 150. Woo! Uncharted territory for this channel. 20,132. We are waiting for us to peak and to see a reversal. I'm not going to lie. If we don't get it here shortly, here's what I think could happen. Just kind of marking out what I think could happen here. If we don't get it shortly, what I think we could do is get a fake move that looks like it's going to happen, and then it just comes in here and it just stays here for a little bit, and then over the lunch or the PM session, we do this, and then we go boom, like that, aggressive to some level that's down here. But right now, we're just making higher highs. It's pulling a Chuck Norris. When you look at the 4-hour, there's nothing else up here right now. This I mentioned this fair value gap is a big one. This daily, how we close over the rest of the week, honestly, I could see a lot of consolidation in this, but if we close above it, there's a shot that we go even higher. If we're truly in a bearish environment, this is that level that you're just, it makes sense for it to run this way from this point. But we'll see. I'm not going to be stuck on a specific bias where I miss opportunities. We've been seeing a lot of bullish price action. John, gonna head out for the day. 20-point win on that slow climb. Gonna call it. Not a bad idea. Starting off green for the month. Way to go. So what have we taken so far today? We took one trade that we got slapped out of in the last second that made no sense. And then we took another inversion to the upside that gave us a 20-point winner. So we're 1 for 1 today. We're 1 for 1 today. No. 1 for 2. Thank you. 1 for 2. All right, look at the last two candles here. Those don't look, it's either we're just printing time here, letting time pass, or I don't know. I wanted to see it. The 930 model, yes. That was break even. That was break even today. Someone called the top of the market and just put in an order block of $100. Well, look at that. There it is. What happened at 10:15? This could be our reversal candle depending how it closes. That's just a crazy candle. It's those types of things that I hate. Let's check out the news. I'm going to head to X and see if there's anything that just happened. News, trending. It's not going to be under news or trending. That could potentially be our top. One second ago, Mike Waltz is out as the National Security Advisor. Why? That happened 1 second ago. More than a second ago now, I guess. Sorry, I got caught watching this video of this guy rapping while he lights himself on fire. What kind of idiot does this? I'm going to rap and I'm going to talk. I lit myself on fire and I'm going to talk. Oh my gosh, what people do for... Wow. 25 minutes, that was 25 minutes ago then? Maxwell, I go, when I'm, literally, there's a news button. You go to search. You just go to the search button. You got For You, trending, news, and you select news. And then you search whatever you want. You can just type in political news. And then it will pull up political news. And then the next thing I do is you have the top, latest, and people. You go to latest. And then whatever is coming out will be right there. And then it'll tell you what the news is. Yeah, you get sucked in watching stuff. It's just it's a massive waste of time. I have an app on my phone that actually blocks Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all of that kind of stuff, any socials, specific times of the day, because I don't want to be on it, but when you do, it's so addicting. I mean, it's designed to addict you, to keep you looking at it. So you just got to stay away from it. All right, so a little sweep of liquidity. but we didn't make a higher high. I do want to see if we sell off here. If we don't, I'm probably going to call it. I mean, this just isn't going to keep doing this. We're going to get some type of reaction. Yes, Paul, that's what I think. It's a signal of a reversal. Honestly, you could probably do a turtle soup right here. But I'm not doing that, and I'm not recommending. Diane, the app X, is that what you're referring to? X? Oh, the app. I think it's called Freedom. It's called Freedom. Where is it? Right here. I'll put it in front of my face. See if I get it. That's it right there. It's a green little butterfly one right there. It does cost money, but I was willing to spend money on an annual. I think it's like $40 for the entire year or something like that. But I'm like, for the amount of time that I waste or have wasted, I'm willing to pay something so I can buy back my time. So during because how easy it is, you're sitting down, you're reading the Bible, and then you just, nonchalantly pull up your phone and you take a peek, and then you're spending 20, 30 minutes, your quiet time, doing that instead of really digging in with the Lord. I'm just saying. I think it's worth it. A Warner, I haven't taken a trade. I was just saying you could take a turtle soup here, but I said I'm not going to do that. You bet, my friend. We'll see ya. The School of Hard Knocks. Mostly, I learned all the stuff that I teach is ICT concepts. Can I explain turtle soups? Yes. A turtle soup is when you have a designated high at a key level, and you see a candle sweep that high and then close back inside the range. That's your turtle soup. You set your stop at that high, and you take the short. You can't get a earlier entry. It is the earliest type of entry you could get in a move. The move that I take, the breaker, well, it's way down here, right? The turtle soup, it's at the top of the move. That's why people will tout that they have figured out the turtle soup. No, they haven't. They haven't. It's an odds game because which is the level that does it. There's a great trade. I'll show you, and it's one of the reasons why we took the long. I'll show you a great example. Is right down here. Look at this beautiful trade. I marked it out because it was a reversal. It was an hourly reversal money. Look at this candle right here. It's 9:59. Look at this candle right here. That's 10 o'clock. This is the hour before. This is the hour after. This hourly candle, this is a minute candle, but this began the new hour. But what does it do before it moves higher? Sweeps that low. 9 o'clock hour to the left. 10 o'clock hour to the right. The 10 o'clock hour sweeps that 9 o'clock low, and then it explodes higher. This is what I called the BPR. I called this a BPR right here. This is also a turtle soup. But this is what gave me confidence on taking that trade here and taking that trade up here. So we took a 20-point win and a 60-point win on those two trades. But it all began right here. That's why people like the idea of turtle soups. You take it on the close of this candle, set your stop loss at this low. It would have been a 64 handle stop loss, but that sucker played out. That's a turtle soup. A BPR is a balanced price range. BPR stands for balanced price range. It's a fair value gap on the left, followed by a fair value gap on the right, making this portion balanced. So price doesn't need to come back down there. And what do you see with price? It doesn't. It goes higher. That's a BPR. Some BPRs fail. Like for this one doesn't. This one is a nice one right here. It looks like it's going to fail, but then it goes higher. Here's a BPR right here. But what does it do? It moves higher, but eventually fails. It doesn't mean it's permanent, that it's going to last forever. It's just temporarily. All right, so price is still rolling over here. Do we have a 5-minute change in state of delivery? The 5-minute change in state of delivery is right here. So a 5-minute close followed by hitting the breaker, that's what I would be interested in. My guess is it's not going to do it until noon, and that means I'm sitting on here for another 30 minutes. You could also do this. You could also do this breaker right here. Using that candle that made the high. That's not bad. We do have an order block right here that we're in. We did rebalance that. If we get up to here, I'll take that. That would be an earlier breaker. Premature breaker, not a fully formed breaker. But I like the idea. There it is. We're not taking it though, because we missed it. We would have wanted, if it would have hit my line, I would have taken that trade. I think longs are going to be, I think we have a short coming here. I think I'm going to take a short right here. Target is this swing low right here. I might move it lower based on how aggressive this is. I'll keep an eye on this level here. See how it reacts to it. I might close this. I'm watching. I think I'm going to just take that and be happy with it. We're in the middle of the between macros. It could continue to sell off, but if we get a retracement, I can take a re-entry for another breaker. It's also we just hit the data high. So we just hit that data high. I was just noticing that, and then look at the reaction we're getting. And that, folks, I think is where I'm going to call it a day. We've been here a good amount of time. We will be back here tomorrow. We got NFP tomorrow. So we've been here for over 2 hours. Don't go short, Maxwell. What are you talking about? We just made how much? 30 handles. We just got a 30 handle win. You bet I'm going short. I'll take that any day. Here's your breaker opportunity coming up again. Right here. We have our 5-minute change in state of delivery. It'll be on this candle. So we need to see if it closes below the 5-minute. It hasn't closed below this 5-minute change in state of delivery. We want to see that close. That'll be a good sign. If it closes below this 5-minute change in state of delivery and then comes back up into the breaker, that's another entry that you could take. Now, keep in mind how low. I wouldn't target anything below equilibrium of this price leg. Okay, that would be your max lowest target you would want to go 20,000 to. So it's right at 20,000. You're not going to want to target anything below that, personally, in my opinion. So I'm done. I'm not going to take another trade today. I'm going to call it a day. I'll be back tomorrow, and we'll rock and roll from there. Nice little win that we got today. See if we can get another one tomorrow. God bless, guys. Stay safe. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.